Top of the Bison here right now. 4:46 to go in the second quarter. Lots of time. Great game. Hernandez now holds it up high. Inside. Oh, and that's a nice shot. Buchelman with the turnaround. He's back in the game playing with 2 fouls, but his presence right away felt.
Good execution on the part of Powell. The perimeter is well covered by Buffalo, and that time they took the option of getting the ball inside of the open gap.
Buchelman with 4 early points. Now Buffalo has a chance. They're down by 4. Inside. Bollinger trapped inside. Back outside. That's Grassley with the drive off the window. No. Rebound. Goes to Moore. He hands off to Hernandez, and Powell coming the other way. Over to Laird. Back to Hernandez. Swings it over to Moore. Laird in the corner, being loosely guarded by Grassley. He'll pull up. He was guarded a little too loosely, but the shot is no good. Grassley gave him the shot. Buffalo comes away with the rebound. And I think we're going to have a blocking foul on the play. Kirkpatrick was driving and picked up the contact, and Powell will get the foul. Toby Laird picks up his second personal.
Pretty good transition that time, Dave, by Buffalo. They're making good decisions on the floor. You know, Mike Moon talked about the Tad Bollinger kid, and you get a look at him inside. He's a big, strong kid. The last possession down here, Grant Paddock, I'm sure, is not happy. They got the ball deep in the block to Bollinger, and he gets the ball that deep. He's got to take that up.
Paddock, the basketball family, his older brother Garrett plays for CSU, and younger brother Kurt there misses the second free throw. It's a 3-point ball game. Powell comes away with it. Hernandez brings it up, being guarded by Wren. Swings it over to Moore. Back to Hernandez. Swings it over to Brian Bieber. Bieber back to Hernandez. Over to Buchelman. Buchelman pulls up in the paint. Got it. Nice shot.
It's nice to see Buchelman stepping up a little bit. As we talked about, that zone has quieted the Powell guards, and Buchelman with now 4 points on the last 2 possessions for Powell.
Back the other way come the Bison. Grassley looking for room. Will draw the foul. Does not get the shot to go, but he'll go to the line. And Buffalo right now, kind of interesting, really staying in this game via the free throw line.
Well, they're getting a lot of opportunities, but more important, I think, Dave, is where they're getting the ball. That time Grassley makes the great post move. Looked a little bit like Charles Barkley. I wasn't sure if he had the hook move, but Powell, on the other hand, as Ron Laird calls it, they circle the post, which basically means they dive down and try to triple or double the post. And Grassley made a real nice baseline drop step to get that free throw opportunity.
Grassley hits 1 of 2 to make it a 4-point game. So your score right now, Powell 23, Buffalo 19, 3:09 to go here in the first half. We'll be right back. Bison coming out of their huddle. Coach, I think one of the fun things about high school basketball, I'm looking right across from us here, and of course Powell has got the orange colors, and they've got all these bright neon orange signs over there with all sorts of fun sayings.
Well, they've got a lot of tradition at Powell. Ron Laird's done a great job, and he's had an awful lot of success and a good turnout from Powell tonight.
All right, back on offense goes Powell. Buchelman over to Hernandez. Nice little fake at the top to free himself, down the lane and up and in. And West Hernandez showing us some flashes of brilliance here in the first half. 6-point lead for Powell now. Hernandez with 7 points, 7 of his team's 25, so he's getting the job done. Inside to Buffalo, and that is the miss. Kirkpatrick with the miss, and the rebound goes right back over to Powell, and they can extend the lead to perhaps 8, maybe 9. Laird has it on the left side, guarded by Wren. Over to Moore. Back to Hernandez. They're just kind of swinging the ball around, being very patient on offense, looking for the, particularly looking for the cuts, Coach.
You know, that was a bomb. That was beyond that NBA three-point arc there.
But Buchelman gets it right back and puts it up and in, and Powell staying hot from the floor. They are really shooting well from the outside. Even that bomb that didn't go in went right back to another guy, and he fired it up. 27-19. Brooks has it over on the right side to Grassley. Grassley drives, and he's sealed on the baseline, but I do believe we drew the foul. And it will be Buchelman's third, I think. Buchelman's going to... That could be big. Buchman picking up his 3rd foul, Coach.
Well, and there he just gets a little bit off balance. He's really trying to recover, and you see the good help coming from the baseline. And the only reason for that foul, again, is his head got over his feet a little bit and consequently got the call.
And you could kind of see the body lean into him a little bit. Hands were straight up in the air, which is what you want to do, I would assume. But when you get the body there, that's where they're looking.
Well, I think, one thing that I think goes unnoticed, Dave, at the state tournament is the type of officiating that you get. We've had great officiating here, and Tim Thompson, of course, from Big Piney with that call, and sometimes they don't get their just dues.
Grassley knocks down both free throws to make it a 6-point ball game. Tell you something about the refs out here. One of the is it Thompson that's working out here? Thompson that's working out here. He's got a bad hamstring. He said he tore his calf muscle. So these guys kind of performing under pressure.
Yeah, that was Stu Nelson was telling us
Stu Nelson,
that he had a bad wheel.
All right, let's take a look at the replay here.
I think the pretty good defense there, and we talked about bringing his hands down. Looked like there may have been a late call on that particular one.
Not exactly the offensive foul you normally see. Usually you see the defensive player set, but nevertheless the foul was called. Grassley, by the way, makes the first free throw. And Buffalo has been to the line a lot. By my count, 14 times, and they've made 11 of them.
And it's a good shooting team. I think, I'm not sure what their percentage is as a team, but you watch the mechanics of all those kids. Very good shooters.
Well, Grassley knocks them both down. He's got 5 in the game. It's a 4-point game. Powell leads. Back up with it the other way is Beaver. He gets sealed off outside to Hernandez. Moore is wide open left side, puts it up. No good. That's long. Rebound right back to Beaver. Beaver puts it up and just can't get it to go, but he will go to the line for 2.
Really a nice job by Moore of keeping that ball alive. As a shooter, he's the best offensive rebounder on the floor. You don't see it here, but Moore kept the ball alive, and a good call again.
Well, Beaver will go to the line. Brian Beaver, 6 feet even. He's a junior. First shot is no good. Kind of a contrast here. Buffalo's been to the line 15 times, and it looks like only 7 for Powell. That's the 8th attempt right there. It's a 5-point ball game as Beaver knocks down 1 of 2. Back the other way comes Wren for Buffalo. Outside to Grassley. On the wing, back over to the top to Wren. Brooks has it, holds it up high. To Paddock. Over to Brooks. Back to Wren. Working the ball around. That's Paddock underneath. Doesn't get it to go. Didn't get the foul either. Loose ball. Corralled by Powell, and here they come.
Nice job by Clint Franklin that time of not making the foul and forcing Paddock to rush that shot a little bit.
Beaver outside misses, but the rebound, offensive rebound, goes to Moore. Moore over to Hernandez, back over to Beaver, back to Hernandez. Sean Moore's now got it. Being guarded by Grassley, right side. Moore inside. And that's big number 52, David Vizaraga. It's a tough name to say. We'll get used to it, though.
Well, I think Buffalo was trying to get the offensive foul, and Vizaraga went straight up and looked like they were trying to draw that call, but the official felt otherwise.
Vizaraga, by the way, the biggest player on the floor at 6'6", but they go right underneath to Bollinger. He gets it knocked away. Great defense by Powell, and oh my, Bollinger reaches his hand in there and draws the foul.
Buffalo did a great job that time, Dave. They get the ball real deep in the post area to Bollinger, and the only mistake he made is putting the ball on the floor. We talked about how Ron Laird coaches his kids to dive down and double the post, and you take a look on this interior pass, ball goes down. If he just takes it up there, but he puts the ball on the floor, and Franklin does a nice job of doubling down and consequently forces the turnover on the foul.
Last shot of the half here. Hernandez looks like he's going to take it. No, he dishes it out to Laird. Laird for 3 at the horn, and it's good. Toby Laird brings the Powell fans to their feet with a 3-pointer left side to end the half. 33-23, and that is big because it is now a double-digit margin going into halftime.
Well, a real rush there in the end of the second quarter by Powell to take a big lead going into halftime, and we talked about early in the opener that the guards needed to play, and Toby Laird gave him a big lift.
All right, your score 33-23, but right now let's send it to Jack Noakes.
Okay, I'm with Grant Paddock. Your Bison down by 10. It's been a well-played ball game in the first half. Your impressions?
Yeah, they're hitting real well. They're shooting outside roll. We got to come out and we got to D them up and put a lot more pressure and challenge their shot. You know, right now we're not attacking their basket like we should. We got to offensively get the ball going to the hole and force the calls from the officials and take it to the hole and score it. That's our difference.
I know athletically you wanted to get the ball.
All right, thanks, Jack, very much. Matt Stranigan and Dave Brill here courtside of the Event Center. And Matt, if you had just tuned in now and saw the score 33-23, I think before the game, we might have figured that Buffalo might have the edge to have that score as opposed to Powell, but Powell's really played effectively here in the first half.
Well, and I think Coach Paddock talked about it at halftime, and Gary Johnson made reference to it, and that is that Tad Bollinger has only got one field goal attempt, and I think when you have a kid that size with getting very few touches down low, that has to be a concern. So I think Buffalo's got to come back and establish an inside game in the second half.
Well, and it's going to be tough to establish that inside game because Tad Bollinger, just seconds before that three by Laird at the end of the horn of the first half, picked up his third foul. So he starts the second half in serious foul trouble as it is. But as it is, we get back to the action. Buffalo now moving it left to right. Brooks from the top gets the shooter's roll and bounce for three, and suddenly it's a 7-point lead, but back comes Powell. Laird has it. He kicks it out to Hernandez. Hernandez now just kind of holds it, looking for a screen.
Now here's one change that Coach Paddock made at halftime. They come out in a man-to-man a little bit, see if they can't get a little bit more pressure on their perimeter game.
Dusty Ratcliffe missing the long-range jumper. So Buffalo can cut into that lead even more. Wren dishes it off. Now Brooks has it. Swings it inside, and we have some contact underneath, and it looks like it's going to be a pushing foul on a Powell player. And the call.
I think Dusty Ratcliffe got the call for reaching in on that one.
Ratcliffe picks up his third foul. So he's in a little bit of foul trouble now, and oh, nice move. Paddock in the lane. So it's now a 5-point game. Buffalo trails. Powell, though, has it. A chance to extend the lead. Hernandez. Back up top. They're just kind of swinging around at this point. Laird being guarded by Brooks. Ratcliffe. Medford. Back to Laird. Laird drives, spins, puts it up, doesn't get it to go, but oh, look at that. The rebound by Paul Medford, the offensive board and put back. Nice play.
Well, a good advantage there. What Powell gets is when they go to their man-to-man and their motion offense, they get the court spread and get some driving options for their guards.
Wren now will try to put up the shot, and there is the foul, and that will go against Hernandez. I believe that'll be his second personal. We'll check that, yep.
Here I think Dusty Ratcliffe does a pretty good job of coming over and establishing good position. I think he was in a position to take the charge, but as you see, the good call, and they called the reach in early on West Hernandez.
Indeed he did. Hernandez, of course, now with 2 fouls, but 35-28 the score. 7-point Powell lead. 6:10 to go here, third quarter. Laird thought about shooting it, but thought better of it and passed it off. Medford inside to Hernandez. He drives and draws contact, and he will go to the line for 2.
Nice job by Wes Hernandez there. He really didn't have the shot, but he drew the foul.
Here's a look at it.
Powell reversing the ball to West, and he gets the reach-in foul early and creates the 2-shot opportunity by forcing that shot.
By the way, the foul was first personal for Paul Grassley. And in a sea of fouls for both teams, it is rare you see just one foul on the board.
Get a good look at West Hernandez there. Coach Laird said today that he's getting a lot of interest from some of the junior colleges, specifically Sheridan College, as well as Rocky Mountain and Billings.
Hernandez knocks down both free throws to make it a 9-point game. Back comes Buffalo underneath the shot. Tad Bollinger went up for it once, didn't get it, went up again, and got the foul, and he'll come to the line.
Coach Paddock has to be encouraged. Out of the last 3 possessions, Buffalo's got the ball inside, and that's one of the things he addressed at halftime.
Now, Bollinger's been a busy guy at the free throw line. This will be his 5th attempt, and he's good on all 5 so far. Ratcliffe, by the way, picked up his 4th personal foul. So he's on the bench for a while. Bollinger looking to go 6 for 6. Does not get that one to go. A rebound Medford. He hands off to Hernandez. 8-point lead for Powell. They can go back to double digits here with a hoop here. Hernandez drives to the left. He's wide open for the 3. No one on him, but he missed it. Rebound Buffalo. Here they come. Paddock. Right side to Grassley. Grassley gives it off to Laird. To Wren. Wren has it. Left side. Grassley. Over to Paddock. Back to Brooks in the corner for 3. No good. Well, no, I spoke too soon. He got the shooter's roll again.
You know, Bart Brooks, I think they've got to try to get him some more looks. He has outstanding mechanics, and they can't let him float around that zone.
And in a wild scrum for the ball, it's going to be either a foul or a jump ball. We're not sure, but in the meantime, Buffalo has cut the lead to 5. And it is a foul. Paul Grassley picks up his 2nd personal. Team foul-wise. Now we'll have to check that. Back to the action. 37-32. Here comes Powell. Hernandez drives. Nice leaner. Won't go. Rebound. Out they come with it. That's Paddock. Paddock, the rebound, brings it up into the front court, being guarded by Hernandez. Paddock dishes it outside. There's the shot. It's good. Brooks for 3, and Brooks is on fire.
Well, I just mentioned him getting another opportunity, and he is an excellent outside shooter, and I'm sure Ron Laird, one thing he's going to talk about is they've got to know where Brooks is around the perimeter.
Well, we've got ourselves a ball game. It's a 22nd timeout. 37-35, and a 10-point lead is quickly evaporated here in the 3rd quarter.
You take a look at Brooks spotting up, and just great balance and great finish, and that's one thing all shooters can do is he extends real well, and they've got to find him.
All righty, it's a 2-point game. Brooks has the hot hand right now. 15 points in the ball game to lead all scorers clearly. On the other side of the coin, Hernandez leading Powell right now with 9 points, but it's Brooks shooting 5 of 7 from the floor that has kept the Bison in this ball game. 37-35. Powell with the ball. They need a hoop. Hernandez kind of dribbling around with it. Fires it off to Moore for 3. No good. Rebound and coming down with it. Nice. Paddock will draw the contact and the foul, and Buffalo will get the ball.
When you get those kind of perimeter shots, there's some long rebounds, and I think Buffalo's size that time kept the ball alive, but it's become a whole new ball game now with a couple of 3s.
Toby Laird, by the way, picks up his 3rd personal. Your score 37-35. Powell clinging to a 2-point lead.
The Wyoming High School
A couple of 3s.
Toby Laird, by the way, picks up his 3rd personal. Your score 37-35. Powell clinging to a 2-point lead.
The Wyoming High School
Welcome back. Powell holds a 2-point lead, and something I find interesting, Powell told us before the game that they wanted to go to the line 25 to 30 times, and right now they've only gone to the line 10 times, and it's really the Bison that have been to the line more. All right, back to the action. Wren, sorry. Wren over to Brooks, right corner to Grassley. Grassley throws it, but looks like it was a team in white. The team in white tipped it out of bounds, so the Bison will retain possession. Grassley to inbound the ball. Grassley out top to Brooks, swings it over to Wren, to Grassley, back to Brooks. Grassley drives, misses the shot, and it gets tipped out of bounds, but Powell will get the ball and a chance to extend a 2-point lead.
Real lucky that Grassley didn't pick up another foul there if we're going over the top.
All right, Powell the ball more. Mefford. Laird has it at the top, being guarded closely by Brooks. Buffalo playing some good defense right now to get back in this game. Hernandez now, we haven't heard much from him this quarter. 3:34 to go, period 3. Don't go anywhere, because I think this is going to be one of those fantastic finishes between these two teams. Moore gets rejected. Paddock with a big-time rejection. Back the other way comes Wren. They can take the lead or tie. Back to Wren. Sealed off at the top, but he pops it up over Hernandez. No good. Moore the rebound. Gathers it in, swings it out to Hernandez, and here comes Powell the other direction. Powell to Moore. Back to Hernandez. Hernandez looking for a little help here. Gets the screen, doesn't take the shot. Moore's now got control. Over to Laird. Hernandez for 3. No good. Rebound Bollinger.
And Powell's really getting some good looks. They're spreading the offense out and trying to let their guards create. They're just not able to counter.
Powell only 3 of 15 from three-point country, but a very, very long drought here for the Panthers from beyond the arc. Here they come again. Laird drives into the paint, pulls up, will draw the foul, but not get the basket. He'll go to the line for 2, and let's see who that foul is going to be on.
Foul is called on number 24, Bart Brooks.
Bart Brooks drawing the blocking foul, and Coach, a good chance here to go to the line for Laird.
Well, and really, Brooks was in excellent defensive position, and I think you got to give credit to Laird on that particular one. From our angle, it looked like he jumped into him and initiated the contact, but very heady play. And again, talked about Toby as the son of a basketball coach, and sometimes they've had a chance to listen to Dad a lot and learn those in the driveway.
Ron Laird in his 18th year, and I'm doing some quick math, but that probably means that he was coaching before Toby was even born. Pretty impressive, but Toby knocks down a free throw. It's 39-35. Pardon me, knocked down both. 4-point lead now for Powell. Outside to Brooks for 3. That's no good, but the big inside rebound. Nick Smith. And the tip in, and I believe Paddock got the tip.
You get 3 chances with Buffalo's size. Powell has got to do a better job of blocking off inside. I think Ron Laird thought there was some pushing going on, but they've got to box out and keep those kids away from the rim.
Powell now up by 2, clinging to a 2-point lead. The drive for Moore. He drives, and looks like it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and Powell will get the ball back. 1:55 to go here in the third quarter. Powell started the half up by 10. They lead by 2. Now trying to extend the lead. The inbound goes outside. Back over to Hernandez, left side. Got his man in the air for a brief second. Puts it in off the glass. No good. And I think we got Bollinger for his, would that be his 4th personal?
I think it is, Dave.
4th personal foul. So that is a huge loss, and he'll come right to the bench as Grant Paddock wastes no time in taking Bollinger out of the game, and coming into the game will be Bobby Storer for the first time.
Well, that time Tad just got his hand tied up on the ball, and the momentum carried him through for the contact.
There's the shot. Laird baseline hits it. Sweet stroke, Toby Laird. 41-37. Powell by 4. Buffalo trying in earnest here to come back. Every time they've gotten close, though, Powell has answered. Brooks is off to the left on the three-pointer. Just a moment ago, Buffalo was 4-7 from the three-point line. Now they've missed 2 straight, and Powell will get the ball back.
Really, Powell a little undersized on the front line, but It's one of the coach's dilemmas. You don't know whether you prefer a big team, strong team with a lot of size, or whether or not you want smaller, quicker jumpers. And right now, Powell's quickness making a difference on the board.
Mefford just turns around and says, geez, I'm wide open for three. I'll take it. He doesn't. He misses. But the rebound inside to Clint Franklin. And we hear from Clint. He's been quiet, but he's noisy there inside the offensive rebound and the putback. It is a 6-point Powell lead, and the Panthers back on top comfortably again.
Bobby Storr, that last possession, fell down, and Clint Franklin was having a heyday, and Bobby was on the floor and couldn't contest that shot.
Sometimes that happens, especially when you got those size 13 and 14 feet. Believe me, I've got them and I trip all the time. Buffalo's got it. That's Brooks to Smith. Smith over to Paddock. Back over to Wren. Wren cuts through traffic. Oh, nice shot right off the glass and in. It's a 4-point game now.
Real nice penetration by Wren on that possession.
Back comes Powell. Hernandez. Haven't heard from Hernandez in a while. And he's looking to create something. Drops it off to Laird. Laird looking for the cutter. Doesn't see him. Hernandez. Now Moore's got it. Being guarded by Smith. Moore drives on Smith. And he's going to draw the contact there. He'll go to the line for two. I believe the foul is going to be on Paddock.
Foul was called on Paddock.
His first personal.
Well, that's a real nice drive by Sean Moore, and he just kept going the basket, and help just didn't get there until too late, until Sean was real close to the bucket.
16 fouls for the Bison, 4 for Powell. We'll keep an eye on that. The first shot is good, so it's 44-39. Here comes the second shot on the way by Moore. Sean Moore up, and it's good. 6-point ball game again. Powell on top now. And I'm assuming Buffalo is going to work for the last shot of the period. Smith has it, holds it up, drops it off underneath. And Paddock draws the foul. Tell you what, a lot of fouling going on in the paint.
Well, that time Paul Medford just lost vision on the cutter coming from the weak side, and needed to stay on the floor, and that's when he went airborne. Get a little pump fake here, gets him up in the air, just that little head and shoulder fake, and then we talked about breaking the plane. Good call again.
Medford picks up his third foul. And subbing in for the last few seconds of the period, David Vizarraga.
And I would venture to say, Dave, with 9 seconds left, and with Powell's quickness, I would imagine you're going to get a pretty good look at the basket here on the last possession.
Remember what happened in the last possession of the first half. Laird hit a three from the left side. We'll see if history repeats itself. First field goal attempt, or pardon me, the free throw attempt by Paddock is no good. Second one goes, 45-40. 5-point lead, clock running at 8. Buffalo putting on the pressure, doesn't want him to get him a good look. Smith the intercept. And let's see who gets the ball. There's 1.9 on the clock, so there is time for a shot, and looks like Powell will have time for one more shot, or is it Buffalo? No, it'll be Powell that gets the ball. Moore to inbound. Moore, and Laird cannot repeat. A nice effort, though, from the three-point line, and that was no good, so it's a 5-point margin here. Powell will go to the final quarter, up 45-40 here to the Event Center. And when we come back, we'll see if Buffalo can make up those 5 points. Welcome back to the Casper Events Center. You're watching the boys 3A state championship. Powell over Buffalo 45-40. Want to say hello to our viewers at KGWC Channel 14 here in Casper and CBS News Channel 5 in Cheyenne. This is just one game of 2 we've got for you tonight. Of course, the second game will be Central and Rock Springs for the 4A boys state championship. That should be a doozy, but right now we've got a pretty good one on our hands here. Buffalo and Powell. Toby Laird has the ball, and He kicks it over to Buchelman for the Panthers, and he knocks down the three, and right away it's a 7-point margin as we start the fourth quarter.
Well, I'm sure that time Buffalo came back out in the 1-2-2 matchup zone trying to stop some penetration, and Buchelman hits a good shot.
All right, we've got a special guest with Jack Noakes. I think it could be a Cowboy, Jack.
Well, welcome to Larry Shyatt, first state tournament in Wyoming. What's your impression so far?
Well, Jack, first of all, I feel bad we couldn't make it last year. You know, we were making a run in the NCAAs still, but this is a great atmosphere. We got a taste of this building this Christmas. And I'll tell you what, to hear the high school spirit and the community spirit here, tremendous.
I know you're a little disappointed with your last two games, but people around the state were really impressed with the way you, your staff, your team played and handled themselves this year.
Well, we felt we were the luckiest guys in the country to have inherited the guys we did, and I'm just happy we could ride their backs this winter. A great group of guys and a tremendous state support for this team. It started to grow little by little, and by the time we got to postseason play, we had a madhouse in the AA.
Larry, you get to make that ride across the Great Divide tonight. I got a little experience on the road. You have a safe trip home, okay?
Thanks very much, Jack.
Larry Shyatt, the head coach for the Wyoming Cowboys. Let's go back to action.
Thanks, Jack. And I must say, as a member of the media and talking to Larry periodically through the year, Matt, Larry is absolutely positively a class act.
I was just going to say the same thing. They're going to see great things from the University of Wyoming in the future with that quality of a coach.
Well, Kurt Paddock with the lane, and suddenly a 9-point lead has been cut to 5 in the span of time it told us to tell you about Larry. That's how quick this thing can change. Buchelman on the baseline, puts it up and in, and that's a very good answer after a brief 4-0 run by the Buffalo Bison. It's now 51-44, Powell on top, now Buffalo the other way.
Really thought Simon Harriott drew the charge on that particular call. He did a nice job of rotating over defensively.
And there's the shot. Scott Wren to the basket and up and in. It's 51-44. The Bison now putting on the pressure. And they forced the turnover right there.
Scott Wren's got to make a difference right now. He's been pretty quiet, but Grant Paddock told us today that since he's taken over charge of that team, running the point, it's been a little different team, and you really want your good players to step up now at crunch time, and he's certainly doing that.
Ron Laird quickly calls a 20 to settle the troops down, and while we're in the timeout here earlier, we were talking about head coach Larry Shyatt. What a terrific year the Cowboys had this year, especially considering how they had finished at the WAC tournament basically a year ago. Joby Wright, of course, resigning, and the team kind of in disarray. And Larry brings them back, a team that could have brought back a team that certainly no one would have been surprised if they had gone, say, like 10-17, but he just totally flip-flopped them, didn't he?
Well, I think the fans, the media, and all the people across the state wouldn't have been surprised to see that team finish no higher than 6th, and Coach Shyatt did a great job.
That was interesting. The refs started giving the Buffalo Bison a 5 count. They spent a little bit too much time in the huddle. They were rushed, and a rushed shot. Now Powell's got it. That's a mental mistake that probably shouldn't have happened, and that's got to drive a coach crazy. Buchelman with the baseline jumper, and Buchelman with 2 key hoops here in the fourth quarter. He's heating up. 53-46 Powell on top. Buchelman's got 14 points. 3 players now in double figures for the Powell Panthers. 3 others for the Bison in double figures as well. Paul Grassley. Grassley loses control. Oh, Hernandez with a great steal and a borderline travel perhaps, but we'll let him get away with that one. Moore inside to the big fella. Paul Medford, and he walked.
Real missed opportunity. Ron Laird talked a little bit about halftime is when Buffalo showed that press that he wanted his kids to be a little bit more aggressive, try to take advantage of the numbers, which they did that time, and Paul just shuffled his feet a little bit.
Coach, look at the screen there. Buffalo clearly the better team from the 3-point arc, and I'll tell you what, if Powell was knocking just a couple more of these down, this might be a big-time double-digit lead for the Panthers.
Well, West Hernandez has been quiet from 3-point range, and as we look at coming just under 5 minutes, I'm not so sure he might not wake up in that remaining time.
Here's the inside play. Oh, Paddock tried to go circus on us there, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey style, but didn't get it to go. He'll go to the line, though, for 2 shots.
Take a look at Kurt Paddock here. He does a nice job. He puts the ball on the floor, but he goes from about an 8-footer to a one-footer because he attacked the basket. So I think that's a real lesson to those kids out there. If you're going to put the ball on the floor in the lane, make sure that you're covering some ground to the basket.
Crafty for sure. Paddock's first free throw is good. It's a 6-point ball game. Paddock with 11 on the night. He's 3 of 5 from the floor, and as a team, 75%. Make it 76% for the Bison, so the free throw shooting for Buffalo certainly keeping them in this game. 5-minute mark now, 5-point lead for Powell. Putting on the defensive pressure on the Bison. Second chance shots right now. Powell in control with 15 versus 7. Here's another shot from the outside. Toby Laird knocks it down for 3, and it's an 8-point Powell lead.
We talked about the stats favoring Buffalo's perimeter game, but Powell guards certainly more than capable of swinging this game if they're not extended.
Back the other way goes Brooks. He's gone ice cold since his hot third quarter, but here he goes. He goes inside on the cut and makes it. Nice assist from Grassley on the left side to find him open. It's a 6-point ball game. Here comes Powell doing a good job of breaking the press. Moore over to Laird. Now they'll hold it up. Run a little clock, I would bet you. 4 minutes and 8 seconds and counting. Moore's got it, being guarded by Brooks. Moore, finger roll, no good, but the tip right there. The tip by Medford, Paul Medford.
That was a great take off the dribble by Sean Moore and an even better second effort by Medford.
The Bison down by 8. Bollinger back in the game with 4 fouls, but he hands off.
Real nice interior post pass by Bollinger. He got the shot and really never got the look and made a great pass to Paddock moving down the lane.
Paddock the hoop, he gets it. Oh, look at that pass, the no look to... Oh my, the no look to Wren. That was a pretty pass.
Powell rushing the ball a little bit, and they've got a 4-point lead. I'm not so sure Ron's going to be real happy about that.
And Ron Laird quickly calls a, it looks like Grant Paddock is the one to call the 20-second timeout. A 20-second timeout called by the Buffalo coach. Kind of an interesting, I would assume that Powell would have called that timeout, but it clearly was a 20 on the other side of the floor.
Well, and I think Buffalo's got to feel like they got to have a little bit of momentum now. They've closed the gap to 4. But as you and I were talking about during the break, I think one stat that might be crucial here is Bollinger with 4 fouls, and he's been able to milk a lot of minutes with foul trouble.
Well, certainly we've got a great game on our hands right now. 3 minutes, 18 seconds to go, and I think this has gone from a 20 to a full timeout. Either that was, this is the longest 20 seconds I've ever seen, Coach. And look at this guy in the stands here.
Here we get to take a look at the no look on the play.
All right, we come back. It's a 4-point ball game. Welcome back to the Casper Event Center. And yes, the fans for Buffalo, and I don't see the Bison in there, but you were telling me here that apparently the Bison went on a rampage yesterday.
The mascots were having fun, which is always a feature of state tournament action.
Absolutely. We won't go any further than that. Let's hope the Bison can rampage here with 3 minutes, at least if you're a Buffalo fan, and that's a good start right there. The shot along the baseline cuts it to 2 now.
Grant Paddock's son right now making a big difference, trying to get his dad another state championship. His 6 baskets in this quarter have been big.
Paddock has quietly put together 16 points on the night. It's a 2-point ball game. Hernandez holds it up top. Now he gives it over to Buchelman. Buchelman over to Medford. Medford to Moore. Moore getting a lot of playing time. Wasn't originally in the starting lineup tonight, but he's been inserted early in the first quarter and has played well. And there's the drive, and Hernandez will go to the line, and Hernandez, who we haven't heard from in quite some time, will get a chance to knock down 2 free throws here and make it a 4-point game, Matt.
Well, we've talked all night about the ability of Wes Hernandez to take the ball to the basket. And the one thing that they're going to get, and I think Powell is very happy and satisfied to see Buffalo in man-to-man, because I'm sure they feel comfortable with the matchups that they get with Sean Moore and Wes Hernandez, as well as Laird. So anytime you see them spread, which is exactly what Ron wants to do, his guards are going to take the ball to the basket and create.
All right. It's a 3-point ball game. Hernandez made 4-point ball game, made both free throws. Brooks into the corner to Grassley. Grassley drives. Oh, he's got the open man, Paddock, and Paddock is absolutely steamrolling the Powell defense right now. 2-point game, and Paddock has kind of carried this team on his shoulder and said, come along with me, I'll get you back in the game. Powell the other way. Moore, some fancy dribbling to get out of traffic. Oh, he passes it off to Medford for the lay-in underneath, and that's a big hoop.
And that's a great pass. We talked about them attacking the zone. That time the press never got back, and consequently they got an easy bunny.
4-point lead for Powell now. Terrific back-and-forth action underneath. The ball knocked free. Wes Hernandez with control. Here he comes. And we got a reach-in foul on Paddock. And I guess down by 4 with under 2 minutes to play, I guess that's the chance you got to take right there.
Well, those calls right there are probably why I enjoy sitting over here instead of sitting where Grant Paddock is. I think the Buffalo bench really felt like Kurt Paddock got fouled on that particular play, but fact remains it's a no look on the other end, and we've got Powell shooting a free throw.
But normally in high school you'd say that it'd be a good thing to send a high school kid to the line, state championship game, but right now the Panthers 79% from the free throw line. A scorching 15 of 19 on the night, and right there Hernandez knocks down 2 more. It's a 6-point ball game, and Buffalo now is going to have to probably go long here to try to get back in this. Now they're going to go inside. That's Wren. He dishes it off, and Bollinger draws the contact. He'll go to the line for 2, and Bollinger, for as little time as he's played because of foul trouble, has actually been to the line quite frequently tonight, Matt.
In that last possession, Dave, I'm sure that Ron Laird's kids are maybe getting a little tired because they're in the matchup zone, and all night long they've done a pretty good job of keeping Buffalo outside. But Powell has got to control the dribbler. This obviously favors Buffalo because we've got the clock stopped, and we're looking at the gap being closed to 4 points, and there's no time coming off that clock.
Bollinger looking for his second free throw here in a row and does not get it to go. Big rebound, Hernandez. Pardon me, that was Medford with the rebound, and the steal, though, by Paddock.
We talked about Paddock making a difference, and obviously now we've got a 3-point lead with 1:27 left.
Paddock, the big hoop underneath to make it a 3-point ball game with just 1:27 left. And
The trophy for this
boy, I'll
game
tell you what, Kurt Paddock having himself a great second half. 20 points on the night.
will join the celebration.
And a quick check of the halftime stats here. I want to see how much Paddock's gained here in the second half. And 17 second half points for Kurt Paddock, and look at this play right here.
Well, you get a good look at there, and I'm not sure we didn't see a foul there, but nonetheless we didn't have a call. But Wes Hernandez tried to split that trap. It looked like he had a little gap in that.
Here's another look at it.
You see the trap and reach in on that angle. Looked like a pretty good call. Looked like he got all ball.
Yeah, looked pretty clean to me. 3-point game now. Buffalo putting on the pressure. 1:20 to go. The clock rolling. 3-on-2 down the court. If they want the shot, they can take it, but it's a steal. Brooks comes out with it. Here comes Brooks over to Wren. Wren back to Brooks. Thought about the 3, holds off on it. Inside, outside it goes. That's Paddock. Over to Brooks. Brooks being guarded by Laird. Outside to Grassley for 3. That's short. Hernandez. West Hernandez, the big rebound. And with a 3-point lead, let's see what they do if they run clock. Looks like they will. Hernandez being guarded up top by Wren. Hernandez drives, kicks it out, does not take the shot. They are running clock.
I would think they're going to have to foul him. There's no point shooting the ball. Good look right in front of us, sir.
Absolutely. Paddock nearly came over the top of us and joined us here at the announcer's table.
Grant Paddock right now is calling for a timeout, and I think he's got to make an adjustment to get his kids to the line because, again, Powell is going to do what they've done all night, and that is spread the floor and let their guards take over.
Well, let me give you a quick update on what's happening here if you just joined us. The Buffalo Bison, who've won 3 state titles the last few years, versus the Powell Panthers, who last won a title in 1985, and it's Powell with a 3-point lead, 38 seconds to go. And Matt, with 38 seconds to go, and you're the coach for Buffalo, what are you telling them?
Well, I think right now the first thing I'm looking at is find out who the poor free throw shooter is. See if they can't get the worst free throw shooter, if they exist, and I'm not sure they do. There again, you can get a good look at the turnover, and Sean Moore's trying to do the right thing, but a great defensive play there by Brooks. But again, we go back to what Grant Paddock's talking about. Ron Laird's kids are going to hold the ball. Grant's got to get his kids on the line with 38 seconds left and down 3. He's looking at 2 possessions, and I would imagine in thinking ahead, he's probably got to be thinking about possibly driving the ball to the basket, maybe looking for a kick back out to try to get Brooks a 3.
Well, Powell has the lead and the ball, 3-point lead to be exact. Moore will be the inbounder. Moore gives it off to Hernandez. Oh, it should have been a whistle right there, but it won't go. And I'll tell you what, Buchelman wide open underneath. Hernandez found him. Great play. 66-61, 5-point lead. Here's Brooks for 3, and it goes, and it's a 2-point game with 22.2 seconds to go.
Well, you're right, Dave. Right in front of us, it looked like there may have been a charge call, but I'm not sure the official didn't think that there was a little bit of acting going on. But they had Hernandez in the corner right where they wanted, and again, great pass to Buchelman for the 2.
Remember, if Powell goes to the line, they are shooting 80%. I don't know if that's gone into the strategy, but here we go, and looks like we're going to Buffalo trying to get a foul, and they finally get the call. Wren drawing the foul, and coming to the line will be Sean Moore. Moore has been to the line, and it's not good for Buffalo right now. Moore, a perfect 4 of 4 from the line this evening. 2 free throws here, and it's a 4-point cushion now. If he misses one, though, then they can tie with a 3 at the other end.
Right, he's 4 for 4, but his 4 for 4 didn't come at a time when we had 19 ticks on it in a 2-point game. And right now, this is state championship.
The shot is up. It is good. Clutch.
Big free throw.
Clutch. Moore, just a sophomore, but shooting like a senior right now. Second one is no good, so it is a 3-point ball game. Here come the Bison. Paddock gives it over to Brooks. Brooks has got a look, puts up the 3. That's a woefully short shot. That's an air ball. I think he should have passed it up to somebody else. He had plenty of time on the clock.
Well, I think everybody in the place knew, and certainly, most importantly, Ron Laird and the Powell kids know who was going to get that last look, and they were chasing Brooks and really didn't give him a good look.
Well, the air ball means that Powell has the ball, a 3-point lead, 8.7 to go. It's not looking good for the Buffalo Bison. Powell trying to capture their first state championship in 14 years. And they are 8.7 seconds away.
And a stat that is big at this point, if you're the Buffalo coaches, is Powell 17 for 22 from the free throw line. And one of the things that Ron Laird talked about is a team goal of theirs is to get 20 to 30 opportunities at the line, because they think they're such a strong shooting team. And that's been evident here tonight. We're still looking at the same situation, though, Dave, and that is Powell wants to get on the free throw line. Buffalo, on the other hand, is going to look for maybe a steal, quick score, and a timeout, but obviously a quick foul.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to figure if they don't get the steal, they're going to get the foul. Here comes the inbound. They swarm to him, and yep, there's the foul. Wren will pick that one up. That's Wren's second personal, and going to the line will be Paul Medford.
Really, of all the people they want on the line, probably the best choice, and that is Paul Medford, not because he's a poor free throw shooter, but because he hasn't had any attempts yet.
Right, he's one of the rare guys that hasn't gone to the line tonight. It's really been a game that has seen a lot of players go to the free throw line tonight. This is a big basket right here. If he makes it, it's a 4-point game, and really makes it tough for the Bison to come back. First shot is good. It is good. And Medford puts the Panthers up 4, and that might have just been the dagger right there.
And Paul signaled number 1 as soon as the ball left his hands. He signaled the Powell fans number 1, so I think he knew that was going in.
Second one is no good, and a big rebound by Powell. More, I would assume, almost, I thought he got pushed out of bounds, but I guess they'll give it to the Bison. So the Bison down by 4, 5.9 to go. They need a prayer here and a miracle.
Powell just doesn't want to foul here.
And that one, that's your ball game right there. Hernandez knocked it away and actually knocked it off the Bison player's hands. So it will go to Powell, and now it's just a matter of formality here.
No fouls in Buffalo. A valiant effort, but we're looking at the 3A state championship, Powell Panthers.
The ball goes high in the air. There goes the scrum. The dog pile, call it what you will at half court. The Powell Panthers are your 1998 3A boys state champions.
All the credit in the world, Dave, I think goes to not only Powell, but also Buffalo. But, you know, Powell's kids showed up before the game, and people sometimes talk about kids today changing, and I watch the Powell kids come in. Every one of them's wearing a shirt and tie. Ron Laird's a class act, has run a class program, and on the flip side of it, these are the tough parts, because you talk about the good guys in coaching. Grant Paddock of Buffalo and Ron Laird and Powell, two good guys, and it's a shame somebody has to lose.
Absolutely. The final score, 68-64. Powell wins it. And looking at the stats here, the unofficial stats, trying to find an MVP over here, and that could be one of them right there. Toby Laird giving his dad a hug. This has got to be a proud moment.
Well, that's one of the joys of coaching, certainly, and I can't imagine what Ron and Toby are thinking. Father-son, coach-player sharing a state championship.
You know, it kind of reminds me in a small way, although not as dramatic, the Valparaiso win the other day with father and son. You saw it here tonight here at the Casper Event Center, and now the team's making their way to the awards podium. While we've got a moment, let me tell you, at least from Powell's perspective, how they did tonight. Mike Buchelman led the way with 16 points. Wes Hernandez had 15. And Toby Laird had 15. 3 players in double figures. And really, I think we figured before the start of the game that it was going to be Laird and Hernandez. It would be the guys that would kind of dictate the pace here for Powell, and they did tonight.
Well, we talked about all the similarities between the two teams. Not only record, not only types of coaches. Grant Paddock, the son of a coach on the other side, and as you just pointed out, 3 kids in double figures for Powell, 3 kids in double figures for Buffalo. So this was a matchup of 2 very talented teams, and we saw a great game again.
A fine moment for the Powell Panthers, holding the trophy up high. They are the 3A boys state Wyoming champions this year. Congratulations to them, and of course congratulations to the runners-up Buffalo Bison. They played a great game tonight, but they fall short by 4 points. And let's take a look at the shot here. The old baseline, that's Buchelman knocking it down, and boy, he was big tonight. 16 points to lead the way. 68-64 your final score. Powell. And then of course the turnover here, Matt.
Well, and Wes Hernandez, he was all over the floor, and that turnover really iced it.
Well, it's all right, final score, and we'll be back. 68-64, Powell, state champs of 3A.